Are you someone with back, butt, or sciatica pain, and you're constantly asking yourself questions of, will this ever go away? Am I going to have to deal with this for forever? Like, what if I'm not able to get back to X, Y, or Z? Am I doing the right thing? Well, what if they miss something? What if it's this? What if it's that? If so, then this video is for you. So hi, my name is Dr. Charlie Johnson. I'm a physical therapist and I help people all over the world with back, butt, and sciatica pains learn to fix themselves naturally using the power of the mind and movement as medicine. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 4 most common personality traits, in my experience, of course, that keep people with back, butt, and sciatica problems stuck in pain. All right, so the first personality trait that keeps people stuck in pain is one of what we call hypervigilance. This is like you're a fish in the middle of like a shark tank or something like that, okay? So you're constantly on high alert, you're constantly looking around, right, waiting for an attack or something to go wrong, or maybe something goes right, but you know, like something will go wrong, right? And so at the end of the day, hypervigilance is this high alert state. It's a constant state of fight or flight, and some might describe this as being high strung or maybe type A personality. This would actually describe me, right? And so you can probably sense that just by how passionate I am and how maybe over the top I am and how excited I get. But look, are you someone who checks your emails 1,000 times a day? Are you someone who's constantly worried about things, whether or not you lock the house or shut off the lights or, I don't know, something silly like that, right? This is me. And so real quick story, in college I was ironing my shirt. I ran to class, I was in class, right? And I sat there, and in the middle of my philosophy teacher saying something, I thought, oh my gosh, like I wonder if I shut off the iron, right? It's actually on my bed. And so you can imagine like pictures of my dorm room being caught on fire, right? They were there, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I stopped as if I had to go to the bathroom. I took a temporary leave of absence. I walked out of the room. I ran full cross campus, only to discover that, yes, my iron was unplugged and it was totally fine. Ran back, sat down in class as if nothing happened. So if you're wondering, again, will this problem go away? Or like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Like, it's been a couple days and today I'm having a good day, but like, why am I having a good day? Or better yet, I'm having a bad day. So like, what did I do different? And like, you're really trying to like figure that out and not just be curious about like, was there anything there? Like really try to figure this out, and it's just constantly on your mind. And this tells me that you have this hypervigilant personality, all right? So just something to think about. Are you someone who's always on high alert? Do you have high alert behaviors that you engage yourself in consistently? Because pain is a dangerous signal, and if you're constantly in this state of fight or flight or threat, if you will, it's going to increase the experience of pain. An interesting thing to think about, and maybe change your perspective about solving this, is that so many people think that when their pain goes away, they'll be able to calm down. But chances are that your life was probably fairly stressful before even being in pain, okay, if you're somebody who's stuck in pain currently. And so when the pain goes away, will you really calm down? The real irony of this is that when you're able to calm down and get good at feeling good, that's when your pain will resolve. Something to think about. The second personality trait that keeps people stuck in pain is this perfectionist trait or tendency, if you will. And so right away, I think it's hilarious because I hear this every single day when I chat with folks who are dealing with back, butt, or sciatica problems. But you can apply this to anybody who's in pain. I talk to them about the process that we'll use to solve their issue. And a lot of times what people say is, Dr. Charlie, like, you don't have to worry about me. I'll be a good student. I'll do whatever it takes to solve this problem. And bingo, right there, that is the perfectionist trait coming through, right? I'll do whatever it takes. I'm a good student. I'll work hard, right? And so many people think that they need to work harder to solve or resolve their pain problem, but that's not true. You need to work smarter, not harder. In fact, less is more. And so working really hard and being a type A good student, having that type of approach might work well in your career, it might work well in academia, getting good grades, it might even work well as a parent, right? Where you're trying to be a good parent and you're always show up to things on time and you're always there when your kids need them. But when it comes to resolving your pain, it will keep you stuck in pain. Are you someone who tends to beat yourself up? Are you judgmental? If something goes wrong, are you like ticked off at yourself and you try to figure out like what the heck went wrong and you're constantly grappling with yourself? If so, again, this is a perfectionist kind of self-critical tendency. And this is what getting out of pain looks like for people who have this type of trait or tendency, if you will. And it never ends well, generally, all right? It usually ends in frustration and burnout, no matter which way you put it. So let's just say that you're doing treatment and it's not working as you would hope, right? Well, you, given the good student that you are, right, will work harder. So maybe somebody gave you a sheet of exercises and, you're doing them once a day and it's just not working. Well, you might do them maybe 2 times a day or 3 times a day, or you'll put in the extra reps, right? And you'll overdo it because you think that if you do more, you'll get better faster. Well, what happens is you flare yourself up, this treatment doesn't work, and you fail another approach. This leads to the perpetuating negative feedback loop of, see, I tried, it didn't work, I'll try harder, the harder I try, it doesn't work, I'll beat myself up, and I'll just give up eventually. Or if treatment is working, let's just say there's a positive thing. Well, the positive thing is usually not positive enough. So what happens is, like, you're getting better, and then you very quickly overlook that win. You very quickly overlook the fact that you're getting better, and you're like, hey, this is great, what's next? Because that win is not good enough, if you will. So you're always looking for the next thing, because that accomplishment as someone who's a good student and always trying to be perfect and be better is not great enough to kind of fulfill that tendency or that feeling of good enough. And so what happens is, as you're getting better, things are going good in this case, you'll put in 5 or 10 times more effort thinking you can get gooder or better faster. And again, what happens is it leads to a flare-up, and then you fail, and this treatment doesn't work again. So you can see whether treatment is not working or it's working, you still tend to overcook it, and you still tend to look for the next thing or try harder, beat yourself up, and then kind of perpetuate this negative feedback loop of, see, treatment doesn't work. And when treatment doesn't work, or when treatment is working, I try harder and I fail. So the cool thing about pain relief is that there is no right or wrong thing. And so the most successful treatment will help you recognize some of these traits, figure out how to change the way that not only are you treating yourself, but also you're approaching the treatment process, and lead you through a process of exploration to find what works for you. Less is more, work smarter, not harder. There is no correlation between the amount of effort you put in to solve this. I don't care how long you've been in pain and the results that you're going to get. In fact, the less you do, the better you will get. I can pretty much guarantee that. The third personality trait that keeps people stuck in pain is one of being over-analytical and or an overthinker. This sort of piggybacks off the hypervigilant type of personality trait. But at the end of the day, if you're a problem solver, if you are someone who's constantly trying to figure things out, if you want to know why every little thing is happening, and again, why today is worse off than yesterday, or why today is better than yesterday, and you're really grappling with that or fighting with it, just recognize that this over-analyzing or this overthinking of, is it this or is it that, or why this and why that, and constantly researching any symptoms that pop up, right, becomes a source of anxiety and or fear, and actually fuels your pain experience. It places you more on high alert and puts you in a relative state of fight or flight and or danger. And remember, pain is an alarm system, and if you're constantly setting off your own bells and whistles by trying to rack your brain around every little thing that's happening and every little thing you're feeling, it's going to make you worse. The fourth and final personality trait that I see keep people stuck in pain is this people pleaser mentality. So pain can suck the joy and energy out of life, and many people in pain feel like a burden to their family or their friends, and they're generally very independent. Again, type A, like, I've got this, I've never had to rely on someone else, self-sufficient type folks. And when you're in pain, well, you can't be as self-sufficient, and you might need to rely on other people for help. Or if you're really into people pleasing, you might just push through things. But in that case, your body's gonna let you know that, hey, you need to take some time to take care of yourself, and you need to give yourself some grace during the healing process to rest when needed, and of course be active when you're able. This people-pleasing mentality tends to evoke acts of self-criticism, because you should be able to help out more around the house, you should be able to do the dishes, or you should be able to take out the trash. And so what happens is we push through these things and then we pay for it later, and this becomes this perpetual cycle of, I do these things because I feel like I have to, because I feel like I should be able to, along with all the other personality traits, but then also trying to please others and do good. But then you tick your symptoms off. And so, yeah, you might accomplish something you want to accomplish and please other people and be able to fulfill that role, if you will. But then you aggravate your symptoms, and then you're down and out, right? Which then self-defeatist attitude, see, can't do this, frustrated, when will this go away? And it just fuels, again, the entire pain experience. And so look, at the end of the day, a little bit of a different topic, but I'm telling you, this is super important. If you're just approaching this from a purely mechanical or structural standpoint, you're doing all these exercises. If you're doing the exercises with the intent of really trying to figure this out or fix it, right? Action is doing the exercise. Intent is like, I need to get rid of this, and the more I do, the better I'll be, and I need to do this because like I need to help my family. I need to get back to doing everything I should be doing around the house because I'm feeling like I'm a burden. I want to be independent again. All these personality traits start popping up. If that's what's driving you in solving this problem, it's going to backfire, and it backfires almost every time. But if you take that same action, hey, I'm going to do these things from a sense of curiosity, and if something fails, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm just going to keep trying. Like, I can definitely get over this. Charlie's helped thousands of people in the world with these problems, and other people seem to get over these things, right? Like, I can definitely do this. So slow and steady, you give yourself grace and you give yourself permission to go on that kind of journey, if you will, of learning and exploration and discovery. So you're still doing maybe the same exercise, but the intent is different. It's not from one of fight or flight or fear or force. It's from a place of, hey, I'm going to stick with this process. And in it, it's going to be great because I'm going to learn things. And if I have setbacks, that's okay. I learn from falling off the bike. But you have to give yourself the permission to be like that. Okay? So be, do, have. Who are you being? What are you doing? And then what are you trying to have? If you're being someone who's forceful, who's fighting, who's trying to figure it out all the time, I know this very well, then you're doing from that place. And that what you want to have, you'll be resisting, and that which you resist persists. These personality traits at the end of the day are very much the same thing. It's the same person with just different masks, all right? So they all lead to acting from a state of fight or flight, and this increases the danger signals or the perceived danger or threat within the entire system, to your body and your brain. And all this does is restrict your ability to heal. And so sometimes it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it. And that, you know, is an old saying, and I would say it applies here, right? Sometimes it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing. You might be doing the right exercise, you might be doing the right approach, but it might be how you're doing it or who you are as you do it. All right, so that is all I have for this video. If you want to learn a proven pain relief process that has helped thousands of people all around the world with these problems learn to fix themselves naturally, again, we use the power of the mind and movement as medicine. You can't disconnect the two. Then check out the workshop. It's a free workshop that I have in the comments below. It's probably in the pinned comments as well as in the description below, okay? Now, be sure to hit subscribe as well as the bell for notifications when I post new content every single week, and shoot me a thumbs up if you thought this was useful. Thanks, everyone. Chat soon.